Hey, you know what? That's pretty good. But you know something? I think that it's been done better before. And by that I mean so much better. That joke was made for the old school TMNT fans, and I just do not give a damn. That was meant for you guys, and it was good for me too. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has always been one of my favorite franchises and wasn't one that I taught that much of on the channel, unfortunately. There are a lot of things that I have missed out on TMNT, such as the um, newest, TMNT series on Nickelodeon that was a few years ago. I forget what it was called, right? Is it the Mutants or something like that? It had a very weird art style. It's not the Mutant Mayhem one, it's a different one. I just can't think of the name of it right now off the top of my head. If you guys can tell me which one it is, I would be very thankful. But I have been a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles since I was a little boy, and in fact, my favorite movie is in fact Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. But I have always enjoyed the TMNT films, and in 2014, I remember hearing the rumors for the longest time that Michael Bay was going to come and produce a film. And everybody at the same time said, "Oh God, oh dear God, no, we will cut off your balls and feed them to you. We will do it. We will cut off your goddamn balls." Yeah, Michael didn't listen to us, did he? He wanted to be our bed, and he wanted to give us everything that we wanted. Did Michael succeed? Unfortunately, no. There were so much more better TMNT films. But in honor of, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and also the upcoming Transformers movie, which Michael Bay is going to bring in the Predacons and Maximals, your nostalgia dies with Michael Bay, doesn't it? Your nostalgia just goes to him and he absorbs it, sort of like Shane Tsung from Mortal Kombat. Yours nostalgia is mine. Uh, but unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of fans of mine that want to hear my opinion on this movie. So let's go and have our nostalgia die together because this is my lazy review and also honest review of the one and only 2014. Dear God, why the fuck did Michael Bay do this? Here is my review of Greeting Geeks and Nerds, I'm Lady Universe and I'm White Nerdy. Yes, I am reviewing this. Um, so let me tell you, I have avoided this movie like the plague, but then when I ended up finding it for free, I thought, you know, I'm just going to ignore all the criticism from this film and I'm going to check it out and see if it's worthy for myself. I have made the biggest mistake of my goddamn life because I have seen this movie. And you know what? This movie is really a game changer, especially for Michael Bay. I remember seeing the very first Transformers movie and thinking that it fucking sucked. And it did. Except the video game. The video game tie-in was actually pretty damn awesome in my opinion. I really did like the Transformers video game that was based on the movie. But that's just me. But anyways, then Michael Bay decided I'm going to destroy more of your childhood. I want to get the right to Voltron, Thundercats, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And every fan after watching Transformers, all at the same time, was screaming, "No, dear God, no! We will kill you! Don't you dare touch this!" And as far as I know, he's still fighting for the copyright for both Thundercats and also Voltron. We're doomed, people. We're doomed from the start. But, anyways, you know what? My curiosity got the best of me, and I was like, I really want to check out this TMNT film. And in all things in honesty, I really should have avoided this movie like the plague. Because you know something, this movie is worse than a piece of shit. At least a piece of shit can still be somewhat enjoyable. This thing is an entirely piece of fucking shit. This film might have some redeeming qualities, might have some fun factors in them, but there is none that I can think of for this entire review or this movie. I will say first off and firsthand that this movie does have a very unique premise or idea going for it. Is that it wants to kind of combine April O'Neil being with the Turtles, and actually, I was at first like, really, like that's the idea that we're doing here? Like, really, this is what we're doing? But then I was like, it's kind of a unique idea and a unique concept. Unfortunately, I don't think that we should have had Megan Fox as April O'Neil. There while Fox isn't a bad actress, she's really not. I haven't seen her in a lot of other roles aside from, being pictured as this and also her, I guess, sexy or attractive pictures that she had all over the internet and pasted about herself. And in case you've forgotten that Megan Fox was like sexy or hot, no, this movie has the ball to it. Remind you, where we have Michelangelo as well as Will Arnett as Vernon telling us that she's hot, including for Will Arnett to look at her ass. It's like, thank you, Michael. We know that Megan Fox has a body. Um, you're making the entire audience, including kids, feel uncomfortable with a grown man looking at her ass. Bravo. It's sort of like watching a freaking adult film, I guess I should say, and it's like, see how sexy that this actress is? Do you remember that this actress is sexy? Because we're going to tell you the entire movie. And it's like, yeah, but you know something? At least adult films have more fucking common decency sometimes for the actors and also actresses. This movie doesn't have any goddamn qualities for hooking up for it whatsoever. And when you know that an adult film is better than a Michael Bay film, you know that Michael Bay had screwed up somewhere on his right, on his bands, and also standards. But I do have to say that I also do like the chemistry between April and also Vernon. It really builds up a chemistry, much more later on in the film. I do like the way how they kind of like bounce off commentary off of each other. But that doesn't say a whole lot in the remainder of this film, unfortunately. I will admit that Will Arnett and also Megan Fox do have a common chemistry and they do shine when they're together on the screen, but that doesn't save the rest of this movie for my standards. It's also unfortunate that this movie tries way too hard to be impressive and to be over the top and to let people know and remind people that this movie should be awesome. This movie tries way too hard to be exciting, tries way too hard to capture everything that the original films have already done right, and that's what makes it so much harder to watch and even enjoy. I know a lot of my fans would be like, well, why don't you talk about the story? Here's the thing. The story in here is almost copy and pasted from the original. I think it came out in 1990 or 1991, the original film, and it is, I think, 1991. And it is copying everything that the 91 film has already done and done right. It's not really much to come in here and be like, well, this is different, this is different, this is different, because it's not really. Even at the moment in the movie where they decided to almost kill off Shredder to bring him back, I was like, yeah, that's exactly taken from the 91 film where the Turtles thought that Shredder was dead and so did the audience, but then they realized that he was kidnapped and tortured for a majority of the time. And when he ended up showing up in the blue flame, that infamous scene, that's where we found out, he was still alive and his sons were going after him. It was a very touching scene that kind of reminded us just how young that these turtles are, that they're just 15 years old. That's not a whole lot. And to go through that much trauma and everything, even for a 15-year-old, it really shouldn't have been there. But you don't get that feeling with the turtles. And although that Jeremy, Nick, Adam, and I forget the other one's name, do a great job representing the Turtles, I didn't get the feeling and vibe from the original film. I mean, those Jim Henson puppets and animatronic people, they stick out because they were so unique for the time being. Even watching the film all these years later, it's still impressive to look at. There is still a whole lot that you can still enjoy that is on, I get the table, so to speak. And we don't want anything that's different. And in fact, these CGI turtles do look amazing and impressive in their own regards, but they still stick out like a sore thumb aside from the original ones that were created by the Henson Corporation. New isn't bad or different, but when new starts to become a little bit annoying, that's when new starts to lose its flavor onto its audience, and with these monstrosities, it does quick. The one thing that this film does right is that they keep the turtles hidden in the shadows for the remainder of the film until they're shown up later, and honestly, I have to give the film props for that. And in case you're wondering about Shredder, there's a good and a bad towards the Shredder of this film. The bad is you don't get to see him except for that one scene where he brutally killed one of Kurai's men. And in fact, if you're wondering if I'm going to talk about Kurai, no, not at all. As much of a person that really likes Kurai in the TMNT fandom, especially in the 2013 animation series where she was portrayed so damn well and had her own distinct, unique personality. In this film, she had no personality except for mercenary for hire. That's it. And I didn't really like the actress that performed her at all. Nothing against the actress, but she didn't give her her own unique style or flavor. And as much as people complain about the 2007 TMNT film, I'd like to remind people at least Kurai in that film had a personality. The one here does not. She's just as blank as a piece of wood, you know? But the Shredder in this one is a more, I guess, unique threat compared to the original one, and I don't like to say this against. I think his name is Toshiro Obata the that portrayed Shredder. I'm pretty sure that was his name. There was actually a reference to him, and this was one of the signs later on in the big fight scene in Rockefeller Plaza, or yeah, I guess it's Rockefeller Plaza or Times Square or whatever, where they end up fighting, and there's a sign that said Toshiro, and I'm like, that is a reference to the first Shredder actor. I see that now. But I do have to say that I prefer Toshiro Obata as Shredder more than this guy because while we knew that Shredder was an infinite threat, he showed reason why he was a threat in the first film, kidnapping teenagers and kids that ran away from home, and kind of used them as his own force to manipulate them, give them everything that they want, and then use them for violence later. And he doesn't care if they live or die later on in the film, and that was pretty dark to see. This Shredder, he just killed one person, and we're supposed to be afraid of him. I mean, come on, it'd be like going to prison and beating up the biggest guy there to let them know that you're a threat. That's a whole different story. But I do have to say, I really do like the Silver Samurai esque suit that they used for Shredder. I thought it was really cool. It really resembled something that you would see on a samurai from Japan. It does look threatening. It does look badass. And in fact, later on in the film, especially during some of the fight scenes, they were really pretty cool. I gotta give it to them that the Shredder fight scenes were pretty good. The Shredder fight scene, in my opinion, almost saved this movie, but the other fight scenes were not as good as this one, but this final fight scene almost made the movie worthwhile. I don't want to diss the actors that were doing the best job that they could here. Well, Megan Fox and the actor that all portrayed the Turtles, respectively, were doing the best job that they could, and I have nothing against them. But yet, the producers and the directors of this film really didn't get what really people enjoyed about the Turtles and were trying to recapture the magic from the original movie. And here they failed pretty miserably. Which is why I'd have to give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014 film the honorary Funko Pop rating of a Shucky. It's nothing spectacular to look at, but there is a sense of nostalgia that is in this film, so I'd have to rate it a Chucky Finster, mostly for the reason of nostalgia alone. It does hold on to nostalgia, but then destroys it later on, and again, it's nothing impressive to look at first, but there's still that hint of nostalgia's hair hidden in the ground. Unfortunately, it get beaten to the ground later on in the film. So that is my review of this piece of garbage, and I gotta say, it is really one of the worst films I have ever seen, by far none. And I like the way how it kind of references Michelangelo from the original film. Any way you slice it, which is a reference to when Leonardo was cutting up the pizza, where he goes, "It slices, it dices," and it says, Ninja Turtles deliver. Really? Are you damn certain about that? Because I'm pretty sure it does not. So anyway, guys, that is my review. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below. Also, be sure to join me at my own sewer layer at Twitter with a link in the description down below so you can see what else I'm working on or what else that I'm going to be talking about. Be sure to hit that half shell by subscribing to this channel. Hit the bell in case you want to be notified every time that I make an upload. And let me know what you guys thought about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2014. Are you a fan, or do you agree with me that it kind of had some good moments, but it just failed in the end? Let me know in the comment section down below because this is one of the worst films that I have ever seen, and I should have listened to my inner self saying that I should have avoided this movie like the plague. And to Michael Bay, you're destroying people's nostalgia and getting paid for it. And we hate you. So until next time, guys and gals, I've been Lady Universe, I've been waiting nerdy, keep geeking on, and I'll see you next time.